Now if we extended that stand to provide more seats, and there was a big void underneath it which was created, which we could then turn into shops, you could get funding that way. But you couldn't just apply for funding to put a row of shops there. And it's only up to a maximum of 900,000 each club can apply for now.
If we are thinking of moving, are we thinking of moving from here to somewhere else? So I think that's the way you're suggesting, that we're going to have to move somewhere else.
I think the two ways is either we develop what we've got because we own it, which again makes it secure, so we can do that. But there are limited amount of funds to do that. You know, like we said, 4, 5, 6 million is not. You know, we might get funding for £1.5 million. We might get some shop funding, some leasing in. We still might be £1.5 million short. Now, yes, we could do that. Again, it's the consultation period. If the fans wanted that and that was our option to go, then perhaps we would do that. But if it wasn't, and we said, right, that £1.5 million is going to come off the wage bill and not give us the opportunity to get promoted from this division or the next division, that's the balance we've got to try and get. You know, really, by moving, the options are you're going to get a better stadium, you're going to get most of it paid for, the majority of it paid for, anyway, by the land that's here. But the most important thing, and I think what you've pointed out, is that no one's going to make any profit. I'm not going to make any profit if we move or anything. In fact, the most important thing is we secure wherever we go for the next 99 years or 999 years.
So they're not in deficit.
No, exactly. Exactly. Yes, sir.
Chairman, are we missing out on advertising revenue at the club? Scunthorpe is one of the best grounds in the country for eating places. We've got 5 just in close proximity to the club. There's the Old Farmhouse, there's Pizza Hut, Frankie and Benny's, McDonald's, KC. As far as I know, there's only McDonald's who is sponsoring a youth tournament. Now these other eating places rubbing their hands every time there's a home game. They're doubling and trebling their turnover, but I can't see any adverts around the ground. Surely we can approach them for a contribution to advertising.
We've certainly approached them. The way they see it is they get the people coming in a footfall anyway, so they don't need to advertise with us to encourage the fans to eat there because they're already eating there. So we've asked McDonald's that have done some things with us before locally. The Old Farmhouse have done some stuff with us before. I think at one stage Frankie and Benny's did a little bit with us, but they're all very reluctant to now because they think they can do their own thing and still get our fans to come in without necessarily advertising within the stadium.
Just obviously, when you came in, it was quite fast and quite a rushed process. I assume you didn't get the chance to check out the books before you moved in properly. Were there any aspects of the club, facility-wise, player-wise, financially, that you thought this isn't right here, or you were quite surprised, or?
I don't think I was surprised. Could be a lot better, couldn't it? We don't necessarily need a big loan on the books, and we don't necessarily, we could probably do with more income from advertising. You're absolutely right, and we could have a better kitchen, we could have better chefs, we could have a better facility, because if you look at Frankie and Benny's and the rest of them, they're quite new. They're quite enticing. You're going to walk in there rather than you're going to walk into our restaurant. And we haven't got. It's not a huge place either, and we've tried to do it. And I'm learning a little bit more about the stadium, and it'd be lovely to put in a new 200-seater restaurant with another chef coming in and the ability to do that. But we're only trading at the minute on 1 day or 2 days a week. You're not going to get quality chefs in, quality people in to take the positions if you're not 7 days a week, because they want a full-time job. What you're doing is you're getting casuals to come in, and they really have no affinity with the club a lot of the time. You want your full-timers who live and breathe Scunthorpe actually working for the club, and I think that's what we need more than anything. But we do need to improve the facilities, we need to improve the restaurant, we need to improve what we dish out on a match day. We do need to do that, and we will try and do that as best we can, but in the end it's the same room, the same place. We have got some furniture, which we're going to change the furniture, the style of it, and see if that helps initially. But I think going back to the question is, how much do we invest? Do we go all out to pinch all their business over the next 18 months to 2 years when we're actually looking at another site perhaps? So we have to, again, it will become clear in the next few months where we stand on that and where we're going, because I'm going to, you know, find out one way or another, are we going to move or are we not? And if we're not, then we sit here and we work on this place and we do the best we can.
Have you thought about expanding the club shop at all? 'Cause
Absolutely,
most clubs are
absolutely, yeah.
tenants and everything, so.
Yeah, everything to do with the club could be done with expanding and improving. You know, it's just a little tired, that's all it is. It's here. You know, when you've got a few thousand fans actually here on a match day, it's a captive audience, and we have to make the most out of that. We have to get everybody eating and drinking and enjoying here rather than the peripheral restaurants and stuff. So, and again with the retail, expand the shop, offer some more goods in there.
Yeah.
You know,
You're
different.
not the one in the High Street, though?
Yeah, I mean that is a possibility, isn't it? I mean that's the deal you do when you move, because if you move, you're going to need something, you know, somewhere like that, and a shop in the high street would be absolutely perfect. And there are plenty of deals going with those at the minute. You can pick them up for next to nothing. So yes, that is a possibility. And it'd be very good for the club.
Do you think there'd be the demand for that sort of thing?
Depends what you class it as. If you want it to make a huge amount of profit, then it probably won't. But if it's part of the whole campaign to get Scunthorpe, you know, more popular, become more popular, and actually as a point where you can buy tickets, where you can buy kit and everything, you probably would be able to at least cover your costs.
Yeah.
And that's the most important. But it's a focal point to advertise the club, isn't it? Where right in the centre of town, I think that's quite important.
But not just that, I mean, sort of it's using the club shop in the centre of town. Say we did move to another site, we had a big conference facility, it was a lovely stadium. Where would this demand come from? Because at the moment, I think we've only sold this ground out once. And I know it's only a sort of part-time restaurant, for instance, but we don't have the bookings to pack it out. So if we did expand and have these really good facilities, the way the economy is, the way the town is, would there be the demands to cover costs and actually make profit for the club?
Yeah, I think so. If you look at the area, absolutely. I think sometimes you look at Scunthorpe area and could a quality restaurant, if we added one, would that fill? And I think it would, yeah, absolutely. If we had a facility that sold quality breakfast and Sunday lunches while people were training on the pitches, grandma, grandpa, mum and dad come in, you know, and the stadium was worked with a balcony where it overlooked that, this is how you would make your money. The conference inn, we're not enticing people in, because it is difficult to entice people into this stadium to do a conference. But if you've got the facilities, it's all very different. You know, and I think it will be difficult, but it will be well planned. And of course, then you're looking at more full-time people being involved in the club. You're looking at a full-time commercial events manager who would do all that. And with regards to events, it is very easy to put events on. It isn't difficult to put events on. It's to make them good and make them exciting and successful is the hard bit. And you have to want to go to these events, and they have to be, and that again is the process. The process would be 18 months, 2 years of talking to the fans. What would you come and see? What do you want? If you could have Sunday lunch at the stadium and it was a superb facility, would you come? What price would you like to pay? You know, all those things rolled into one. And once the people are at the stadium, then you start to build your income stream.
The £1 million that we got from Gary Hooper's sale to Norwich City quickly got whittled down. Did we have to pay capital gains tax on that portion of the monies that we got?
£1 million just gone straight over my head, is it?
It wasn't £1 million. I mean, it was undisclosed fee. I mean, it was nowhere near £1 million.
Oh, well,
And it was definitely south of £500,000. So
it was £1 million, and then we're all working it out. We thought, oh well, we should get at least half that. But then when it all boils down,
I mean, transfer fees. I mean, if Rooney goes to wherever, we know exactly what is. The school will tell you. Everybody will tell you. When we go from school to Bury, it's undisclosed.
I think people guess with the big fees, people like Ronaldo and the 80 millions and the 100 millions and whatever for players like that. What clubs generally do is usually there's a reason why. One, the club who's receiving the money might not want everybody to know that they're getting 5 million, $1 million, whatever it might be, because that pushes wages up. And in terms of if it isn't as much as you expect to sell a player for, that's maybe why the selling club might not want it disclosed. So if your fans think Mark Duffy's worth £1 million and you sell Mark Duffy for less than £1 million, the selling club might say, look, we don't want this disclosed for these reasons. So that's why I often transfer fees.
I think I would love to be able to tell everybody, but it's not just our choice.
Don't you think there should be more transparency in football now?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd love to come in here and tell you everything. Because in the end, you probably go, oh right, okay, carry on then, we'll just come in as fans, because it is a huge responsibility. You know, with the directors of the clubs have got a huge responsibility financially, you know, and we take that really, really seriously. And there are things attached to that, and disclosures, etc., are. With the bigger fees, with the Rooneys and that, the agents are trying to tag on a little few extra. They might say 40 million, and it's actually 38 million, but actually 2 million might be their cut. So they're just hoping that somebody will come in at 42 and 43 and 44. We're not quite up there yet. So our few 100,000 is important that whatever we get and that is extra coming in, and some of this money was extra coming into the club, is that what we don't do is alert the rest of the league that we've got money to spend. I think if you start doing that, I mean, alarm bells would have gone up straight away that I've joined and you've spent £1 million already on players. So what we've done is we've not done that. We've worked very hard on the budget, keeping it tight, and what we don't want is players coming in for an extra 200, 300, 400 quid a week, because it does add up. You know, all of a sudden you spent maybe 50, 60, 70,000 extra on players that you didn't really want to do, and that will improve the facilities, the toilets and the bars. So that disclosure is difficult, but obviously as shareholders, if you buy shares, you can go to the AGM and you can see the accounts. You know, they're pretty clear. As I say, it would be really nice to say exactly the figures exactly, but it's impossible. We just can't do it, and that's really more from a financial disclosure point of view rather than wanting to.
Will the Hooper money be reinvested into the squad then? Or?
Yes. Quick question.
Yes,
You touched on playing sign visit. Do you envision any activity between now and the end of the window at the end of this month? Apologies if that question has been asked before.
No. I don't know. I mean, we all know what we need. We probably need another striker, with all due respect. Whether we go out there into the marketplace and find one, or whether these guys do it for us, you know, the pressure is back on them. I think we've got a good squad. I think we've got people who can score goals. If we hit the inside of the post rather than the outside last week, we come away with a 2-0, 3-0 victory. Yeah. So you know, if you look at it, were we unlucky? Probably, but would we accept 4 points? Yes, we would. You know, and no goals conceded in our first 2 games. Today's a big game. We win 7 out of 9 is a great start. 4 out of 9 is not such a great start, or even 5 out of 9. So it is a bit. This is another pressure game for us today. And the strikers, yeah. As long as we can hold that back four strong and the midfield and stop conceding goals, it'll give ourselves a chance. And these guys will score. They will score. If not, we go and find somebody. And if that means within 2 weeks, you know, yes, we know the transfer window's there. We've got the loan market we can go to as well. You know, and we know there are certain players who aren't getting in other teams, and we know we've been linked with other players as well.
If we were to move ground, do you think there's benefits of being in town, or would you be looking to something similar?
I don't think you could go back into town. No. I mean, as with many towns, the high streets now are struggling anyway. So whether you'd want to be based in town, I would find it very difficult. Yeah. Plus, you know, there's a lot more policing involved. If you've got 10,000 people in town for a match, it's a lot more difficult. You know, but there are a lot of space, a lot of projects going on at the minute around Scunthorpe, and we wouldn't have to move very far, would we? I mean, where we're here is a great spot. It's just becoming very valuable, and it's obviously becoming an area where now we have to make that question, and if we move the M180s just up here, it's absolutely perfect for us. So it wouldn't be very far. No.
That's what does happen, doesn't it? I mean, you say, because if this latest project comes on, the 181 then gets downgraded, doesn't it?
I think I couldn't answer that question fully.
Downgraded from Green Motorway there, get downgraded so we can do that there.
I think there are lots of options for us in lots of places. What we want to do is go where we want to go. If we are, you know, not this is your option and that's all that's available. It's not, you know, because we're a key point of Scunthorpe. You know, the football club is a key point.